Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Ariana, welcome to the show. Bienvenido a la entrevista.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here today.
It's really exciting. I mean, it's such a crazy thing. I mean, we're talking about A Través del Mar, Through My Window Across the Sea, going to be available on Netflix June 23rd. It's crazy. Sequel, so much popularity around these web novels and everything. Isn't it crazy, though, that you write something and then it's a Netflix movie? Like, what's that feeling like for you?
It's a little bit crazy. Sometimes I still walk, like my TV is on and my Netflix is on, and then I walk past by it and I'm like, and it's like through my window on the cover or something like Netflix originals or whatever. I'm like, oh, I wrote that. I wrote the book that was based on. It's like kind of crazy because there's days where you still don't believe it.
Mm-hmm. I want to get into the movie specifically. I watched it last night. It's excellent. So much kind of happening and so much growth of a lot of these characters. For you though, specifically for writing, storytelling, what's your favorite thing about doing that specifically? Do you just love bringing things to life and just creating these stories? Like, what do you like about being a storyteller, Ariana?
I think it's the freedom because in real life we are very limited. Mm-hmm. We have certain things that we can't do, or certain things that we can't leave anymore because etc. So in writing, you're like free to do as you please. You're free to write, the story that you want to share, the story that you want to tell. Sometimes even like putting a little bit of yourself in a few characters or like a situation that you went through, like kind of like venting a little bit too. I feel like we use it as therapy, but a lot of writers don't like to admit that because we want to let go of stuff. So I think it's just the freedom to do whatever you want in your story.
Is it interesting also to did you have a lot of conversations with Julio and Clara about these movies? Like, were there a lot of because I feel like anytime there's original source material from an acting perspective, I feel like they would have so many questions for you.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come, to the filming of these things because I feel like it would be more personal to talk to them like in person. Yeah. But we did chat a few times and talked about everything. And mostly, we were fangirling over each other.
Yeah.
Me, we were with them and their acting skills, and them because, I was the one that created the story. So we were like mutually
you created
fangirling.
The worlds. It's really impressive, though. I have to say, it's the world that you've created is incredible. Like, congratulations.
Thank you so much. I feel like, I don't know, there's a lot of people that like it, backing up this story and this movie. So that's very, nice to see and feel these days.
When people get to watch this new film, I mean, what are you hoping people get out of it takeaway wise? Obviously, these characters we've seen before, it's a sequel, do kind of journeys for these characters. But anything else kind of takeaway wise, hope they get entertained, but anything else specifically?
I feel like they're going to enjoy it a lot. It's a summer movie. We have the ocean. And this summer. So I feel like we're going to be very easy. It's going to be very easy to relate to what the movie is, the scenery and all that. And also the drama. And I hope people finishes the movie and they have a lot of emotions, even like good, bad, like all the kind of emotions, like it generates like a reaction in them. That's what I expect from the second movie.
It's also incredible that a lot of your web, like with Wattpad, your web novels reach so many people kind of worldwide and connected so many people, and a lot of people, really related to these characters, and they were doing self-reflection as well, and there's a relatability. These movies now are on Netflix, and the worldwide effect of Netflix is crazy. Like, what's that like for you? So many people get to see your universe. Like, Netflix is on incredible reach.
Yeah, it's insane there because Netflix, is all over the world. I don't know how many countries, like they have like 80, 90, I don't know how many.
It's over 90, absolutely, yeah.
Yes, and they have so many. And sometimes, for example, I'll be on TikTok and an edit from the movie will show up and it's in a totally different language that I don't even know which country it's from.
Yes.
And I'm like, these people are watching the movie. Like, it's insane because it's just different. It's just a whole global thing. Because before, the book was a bestseller, so it was very popular in the Spanish population. Mm-hmm. Now it's like in everybody. So everywhere in the world, it's like, okay, you can watch my movie no matter where you are on Netflix.
I wanted to ask you as well, because you've written a lot of books and everything, and I'm just curious. Maybe it's depending on different projects, but what is the feeling and mindset when you finish writing a book? Do you feel like it was like an emotional experience that you need a break? Or are you motivated? I have another idea. I want to make another book. Like, I'm just curious. Does it depend on the time and the projects?
I'm always writing like several books at the same time, which I shouldn't do. I do not recommend, okay? So basically when I'm finished one, I'm just focusing on the other ones that I haven't finished. So I don't really take break, which, my therapist would be very sad to hear. Because, sometimes you need a break to like refuel, get your, everything back. But I just can't stop. I have that mindset of like that you always have to be productive. You always have to be doing something.
Me too.
It's really hard for me to take breaks. But I'm working on it. I want to finish. I want to be able to finish a book and be like, okay, now I can breathe for a little bit before I start doing something else.
But you don't really think about the amount of people that will read your stuff or watch the movies when you're writing it, do you? I don't think you do. Or sometimes maybe you're like, wow, I have something here, and maybe there's an opportunity that people are going to see it. Like, do you not like? I feel like you're in the zone, right? You're like focused on writing.
Yeah, but it definitely puts pressure on you because it's like there's a lot of people waiting for it. So, like people are going to read it, like, somebody's going to read it. So it's different when I started, like it was for myself, just writing and reading it for myself, or maybe giving it to a friend and begging them to read it. But now there's like a lot of people, thousands of people waiting for it. And it's like, it gets a little panicky sometimes, but you have to remind yourself, this is your story that you want to tell, just tell it, enjoy it. And then, it is what it is. Absolutely.
The thing about these movies and like the books, the Through My Window books, is I feel like during the worldwide pandemic, a lot of people were doing a lot of self-reflection and trying to figure things out because they had the time to do so. They were at home. They were thinking about a lot of things. They were reflecting. We look at characters like in your novels and in these movies, and there's a lot of that. There's a lot of trying to figure out their next move. There's a lot of people that are lost. Some characters don't even know they're lost, but they're lost and they figure out and everything. And I feel like because of the pandemic, because a lot of us were lost and a lot of us were trying to find ourselves, I feel like you watch these movies, like yours specifically, and I feel like they hit harder and they become more relatable because we were kind of going through that during the pandemic. I'm just curious if you ever thought about that at all, because it was a time for a lot of people to figure things out and let a lot of like kind of ideas marinate and like a lot of new like life changes and life choices. And we see that in this movie as well. Across the Sea, we see that as well.
Yeah. I think it was like perfect timing too. The movie came out we were just coming out of the pandemic, and we just wanted to entertain ourselves, and the movie was there, but also like these characters have I think that the story was like very popular because a lot of people went through that, like getting to that age where you don't know what you want to do, what you feel like, and you let yourself get carried away by things that maybe you shouldn't get carried away by. So, and then you made mistakes. And then it's like all this journey for these characters that I feel like that was the biggest point with the novel, like how it resonated with so many people because of that reason. Because, sometimes we all been there. We all had a crush that was very unhealthy sometimes. We all had, like that moment where we were rejected or somebody didn't, reciprocate our feelings at first. And it's just like, it's life, it's life. And I think that was the point that, really, engaged people with the novel and then the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you feel like when they watch this movie, we're going to learn more about these characters, but there's always more to learn about these characters, I feel like. Are you hoping that the audiences feel like they know these characters a little more? Because I feel like some of these characters are a little misunderstood and a little blurry. And I still don't think, I don't think like Raquel's going through a lot. And I don't think sometimes she's like I don't know if they know what's like happening or what's to come and anything. From an audience perspective, do you hope that people are gonna like learn more and like be more comfortable with these characters in this movie? Or do you think there's way more to explore? Like, I'm curious about that.
Yeah, especially the second movie, because I feel like those conflicts, get a little bit deeper, and that's kind of like you see in the second film. Like I feel like in this part, people are gonna be like, oh, okay, so we're getting to the deep part of both of them, and also the characters around them that they are also like going on their journey. So I think people are gonna enjoy getting very deep and personal with them, because it's at the end it's something that we can all relate to. Again, like things that we have been through sometimes in a way or another. So I really hope that's the case.
When you are first approached about this idea of your characters and your universes being expanded into Netflix movies, what is the first thing on your mind specifically? Like, what is going through your mind? Even before it's official, the first call of like they want to make these movies on Netflix based on the worlds you created. What's going through your mind?
So the thing is, like, there wasn't a call like that. It was first a call. It was a call by a producer that was interested in the book. And they were like, okay, we're going to try, to pitch it out and see what happens. And then there was a lot of secrecy. It was like, okay, we're talking with somebody, but we can't tell you yet because it's not official. So we can tell you. And it was a lot of these back and forth on, we can tell you yet, but it's one of the big ones. But I still really didn't think it was Netflix. Honestly, I was like, maybe it's like a channel in Spain or something like that. Like that was my thing, no? And then when they say, okay, finally we can tell you it's Netflix, I was like, you hold on. You mean like Netflix? Like Netflix? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. It took me like 2 weeks of processing, like, oh my gosh, my book is going to be on Netflix. And I would like I would watch Netflix because I watch a lot of stuff. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, my book is going to be here one day. So it was like kind of like insane, exciting, but it was also a lot of processing time.
Yeah, and it's so crazy. And June 23rd, it's going to drop worldwide on Netflix. That's A Través del Mar, Through My Window Across the Sea. Ariana, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for this time with you too. It was very fun.
I really appreciate it. Instagram, TikTok, right? Ariana Godoy, they'll find you, right? If they want to keep up to date with everything.
Yes, you just have to type Ariana Godoy and I will show up.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Turn. youtube.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. A Través del Mar, Through My Window Across the Sea is dropping worldwide on Netflix June 23rd. Until next time, it's Ariana Godoy and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.